All right. I'm going to share something with you that completely changed how we think about cruise spending, right? So this is your first time to hit this channel. Please go ahead and like, subscribe. I'm Jenny Jones. This is the Golden Compass Retirement Channel. All right. So listen, on our last trip, we were sitting by the pool. It was actually, I think, maybe day 3 when I realized we had already saved enough money to book another cruise. Now, not because we were being cheap or missing out on anything, but because we'd figured out 5 simple tricks or hacks or whatever you want to call them that most cruisers never think about, right? I'm not going to say never think about, but these are some things that, how much can we really make if we added them up? But these strategies just didn't save us money. They actually made us money in our retirement fund, and it was still growing at the same time we're on the cruise. All right, so let's break this down, right? We're still having the time of our lives. I'm going to show you some B-rolls from different things we were doing while we are there. Kind of want to show you some different areas we got a chance to experience. But my wife and I really enjoyed our last trip to Ensenada, and it was a quick turnaround trip, but if a lot of the things happen, right? It's really the pre-cruise prep that changed everything this go round, right? So the biggest mistake that most people make when booking a cruise happens months before they even pack their bags. You know what I'm talking about? I mean, so you get that cruise itch, you go online, you pick the dates based on when you want to go, and boom, you book it. That's exactly what we used to do. And let me tell you, we were throwing money away every single time. For years, we booked cruises like everyone else. We pick our vacation, we put our weeks together, usually summer around the holidays, because that's when it felt right to travel, right? We look at the prices. Of course, like everyone else, we cringe a little, but tell ourselves it's worth it. So we should try to just do this experience, right? Every cruise felt so expensive, right? Every cruise felt like we were stretching our retirement budget just a little too thin, but we didn't know any better, right? I started getting smarter about all of this, right? Then something happened during our research for this last cruise. We was trying to go to Ensenada. It completely changed everything. I was like, oh my God, ding, 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 right? We're both, we are just browsing the cruising prices in March, planning our usual summer getaway. That's when everybody planned, right? When Jennifer actually clicked on a different month, May instead of July. Well, I think that was me because I think I picked a year out, and she's like, "What are you doing? That's not even the same year." And we started discovering these prices, right? The exact same ship, the same itinerary, same cabin type, but the price was $400 per person less than our July dates. It's like, wait a minute, right? $400 per person? Man, that's $800 total for the both of us for the exact same cruise experience, right? It is the exact same cruise experience. They don't change, same entertainers and everything, right? So we started digging a little deeper. And I was like, okay, well, something else shocked us. The cruise prices swung wildly throughout the year, and most people book during the most expensive times without ever even realizing it. Summer months, school holidays, major vacation weeks. These are what the cruise industry they call these their peak season. They know they're going to make money, right? You pay premium prices for the privileges of cruising when everyone else wants to cruise. But here's what no one's talking about: those shoulder season months, right? The ones right before and after peak season. They offer the same ships, same destinations, same service, sometimes even better weather, May instead of June, September instead of August, right? Late January instead of February. The ships aren't any different. The food isn't any different. They don't serve anything special because it's the summer. No, it's all the same. The entertainment isn't any different. You have the same entertainers, but the prices are dramatically different. When we booked our May cruise instead of that in July cruise, we saved about $800 right off the bat. Boom, $400 a piece. But the benefits went way beyond what just the money, right? So you got to think about the ship was less crowded, right? We got better service because the crew wasn't overwhelmed by so many people on those peak seasons, right? The pools weren't packed. The dining rooms had shorter waits. This is crazy. And people don't even think about this, right? Even the port cities where most, they were a little bit more pleasant because we weren't fighting cruise ship crowds at every attraction. listen, industry data shows that cruise prices can vary by up to 60% depending on when you book. Peak season rates in July can run $200, $300 per person per night, while shoulder seasons is what they're called. These are shoulder rates in May might even be $120 to $180 for the identical experience. Crazy, right? So over a 4-day cruise, that difference can add up. Definitely if you're doing a 7-day cruise or even a 14-day cruise, those prices can actually really, really add up. So the timing strategy we discovered became our new booking rule, right? We pick our destination first, then we look at shoulder seasons or the off seasons within that region. Caribbean cruises in late April or early May. And you also have to check the weather too. This is something my wife wanted me to make sure that you guys understood, that you got to check the weather. There are some seasons that have a lot of hurricanes. So when you're starting to go to the Caribbean, you have to make sure that you're trying to get a little good weather as well. So you got to be very careful too. So I would look at the weather forecast as well, right? So Caribbean cruises in the late April, early May, right? Alaska cruises in late May or early September. Those are really, really, really powerful dates. You can save a lot of money. Mediterranean cruises in September or October. We let the calendar work for us instead of against us. That $800 we saved on booking became seed money for everything else we did on the trip. It changed our whole approach to cruising, spending, right? The spending was different because we started the journey already ahead of the game. This is what people do. A lot of people say, "I mean, I feel like a vacation." I feel like, no, just plan accordingly, and you save a lot of money that way. And I don't know if I'll do it on this video, maybe another video. I'll show you some other things, some other tools that we did. I just want to finish getting to some of these other points that we talked about, right? So when you begin with that kind of savings cushion going in, every other decision on the ship feels different. This is so true. My wife and I was just like, oh, I remember we were laying in bed. We was like, man, just to be on the trip, just to be on the cruise, we had a balcony, right? And it was really just to have that experience, and we didn't have to worry about any additional monies or anything like that. It really felt different. So getting on the cruise was just a whole different. It wasn't like we had to come back and say, oh man, we overspent here. We ran up this credit card to do this. It just going in and having the money saved ahead of time made a major difference, right? So when you're constantly worried about the bill at the end, this type of smart building booking, right? The approach, it set us up perfectly for the 4 other money saving strategies that we discovered once we got on board. All right, so let's talk about our onboard spending tricks, right? Nobody talks about once we got on the ship. This is crazy. It's like maybe some people are talking about it, but everybody figures they're a strategist, right? These are the things that I use. And the last tip that I'm going to tell you guys is going to be, I'm not going to say it's life changing, but you'll understand a little bit more, and you'll try to figure out how is it that we're able to take a lot more trips and we're able to cruise a lot more. Being a retirement planner and or investment advisor for the last almost 30 years now, probably 27 years now, I've discovered a lot of different things that work for us. And I'm going to share that last tip I'm going to give you. But so once we got on the ship, right? So this is important, right? We thought our money savings work was done. Man, listen, we figured we'd already won with the $800 booking discount. We can use that on the next trip, right? But that was not the end. The real savings opportunities don't even start until you step on board, right? Most cruise veterans never figure this out because they're too focused on the wrong things. Here's what most people don't understand about cruise economics. The cruise line doesn't make their money from your cabin fares. Oh boy, they got my cabin fare. That's not where they make their money. They make it from everything you buy once you're trapped on this floating city, right? They got the pictures, right? They got take a picture with the captain, right? And they have buy these drinks here, go to these specialty restaurants, buy this gold, this jewelry. It's duty free, no taxes, right? The shore excursions, right? Spa services, things of that nature. That's where they make their money. The photos, the internet packages. Oh my goodness, internet packages, right? Um, Usually you can beat that, right? With just a couple of walkie talkies, right? You may walkie talkies are super cheap now because they don't really sell them like they used to, but you can probably go on Amazon. And I may put that. We do have a little store that's a saving store that we put up. I'm going to make sure I have the link in there of all the things we save, but you can buy some internet walkie talkie. You don't need to buy their internet packages, right? That's where they get you. That's where they get you. It's not about that. It's where they get you once you get on there. And now you're kind of trapped, right? But once you know how their system works, you can flip it in your favor, right? So let me tell you about our poolside moment, right? We're sitting there, like I said, it was about the third day. We're sitting there on the third day. Let me see. And then Jennifer, right? She's got her little drink, right? Her virgin Shirley Temples or whatever she normally likes to drink. She wants to get a umbrella in there. She wants everybody to think she's really drinking. My wife don't listen, my wife doesn't drink, right? But she's got a little Shirley Temple's. Me, of course, I got my signature Arnold Palmer, right? Little lemonade, little iced tea. We're good to go. We start adding up what we've spent so far. And that's me. And she goes through this drill with me all the time because I'm this guy. I'm always pulling out the numbers, and I'm an accountant. I have a master's degree in that, have a master's degree in financial planning, and I'm always pulling out a calculator. We pull out our phones and we calculate every purchase thus far. Dining, drinks, the shore excursions here that was going to be in Ensenada, right? When we added it all up, we realized we had already saved another $1,200 on top of booking. That's crazy. On top of the booking, we had already saved another $1,200. So Jennifer looks at me and says, we could book another cruise. Look what we've saved already. With what we've saved already, we can book another cruise. I was like, you know what? You're right, right? That's when it hit us. These onboard strategies were just saving us money. They were funding our next trip. Our dining approach changed everything. This, you got to get this right. Instead of buying the specialty restaurant packages up front, that's where people go wrong. Don't buy these packages up front, right? That's kind of what they get you. It's like, oh, I got the money, I'll buy it up front. We ate at the main dining rooms and buffets for most of our meals. I may have another video talking about what's the best time to eat because you missed a lot of the trips if you eat too late, right? You miss a lot of the shows if you eat too late. So you might want to try to get in early. That's another tip. I'll talk about that when I start introducing you guys to our store and some of the other savings that we found and these savings that we found on Amazon even before we go. So, but here's the key really for the most of the meals, right? We book one specialty restaurant on the second to the last night when they offer discounts. Why are they offering discounts, right? Because they have all these empty tables, right? People have already spent most of their money. They've already lost it in gambling and all that. Now you have all these empty tables, right? And they have to meet their trip quotas. It's like, man, we wanted to get 300 families through here. We only got 150 families in here. Let's get another 100 families through. So let's offer some discounts, right? So we get the same premium dining experience for about 40% less than if we had bought it on embarkation day, right? That's when you're doing a lot of your spending, you're trying to plan on all that. No need to do that, right? The food was identical. They didn't serve anything any different. They already know what they're going to serve every single night, right? So the service is actually better because they weren't slammed. The entertainment was similar. Instead of paying for premium shows and activities, we discovered some of the free comedy shows, which is pretty good. The karaoke, the throwback 70s sing-alongs, those kind of things made it fun, right? Live music in the lounges. The secret is in the lounges, right? You go there, you have just as much fun, right? And the deck parties. I'm going to show you some photos here. We had more fun in the club and the deck parties than we had in a long time because you're just really enjoying yourself. The parties, they were often more fun than the paid experiences to me, right? So we saved about another $180 just on entertainment. It had been it had been better at times doing this, but this time we really made a conscious decision to do that. Here's another savings that we used to do in the past, but we've changed it somewhat. I mean, we did this in Jamaica one time. So when it comes to shore excursions, right, you can actually score probably your biggest wins, right? Those cruise line excursions cost anywhere between 120 to 180 per person per port, right? In the past, we've researched local tour operators before we left home. It really depends on your port, right? You can't do this at every single port, right? sometimes you can find trips for as less for probably around $45 per person instead of the ship's 160 option. It depends on your port because you can go there and you can probably depends on what town you're going to. Some of the ports you have to be very careful with. I'm not going to recommend that for everyone. We used to do that. I think maybe 10 years, 10, 15 years ago, I thought we were living in a different world and I thought it was easier to do. So we used to do that. But you actually depends on what port you go to. You actually can still use this as an option as well. You're going to probably get better guides. They're going to be smaller groups, same destinations. It's almost better if you go as a family or a family reunion or whatever. So you know you're going to take about 20 people, whatever, 15 people. You go as a group, then you really can save a lot more. And these are people that you know, right? So in the past, we've saved as much as, I don't know, 230, 240 bucks just at that one port. And so if you go to multi ports, that you've already saved her, right? But if you are extremely disciplined and you can save more money with the onboard credits, this discovery is crazy, right? It blew our minds. So you can literally, they offer this. It's in your app when you get on there sometimes. I know Carnival Cruise has it, or it's everywhere you look. They're offering you these credit cards, right? During your first day. It's like a first day promotion. Hey, first day only. You can get these onboard credits. Just sign up just by simply signing up, right? Not because you need another credit card in your life. That's what you don't need, right? And that's a whole nother video for a whole nother day. Make sure you subscribe and I'll give you the lowdown on the credit cards as well. Baby, you're gonna sign up for it because they give you as much as $100 to $200 of onboard credits just for applying. You just because you applied, we're gonna give you credits. We're gonna add it to your ship and sale card just because you applied. Cool. I'll take that. I'll take your $200. Thank you very much. You can use those onboard credits for drinks or, restaurants or anything else, shoot pictures, whatever. Then when you get home, as soon as it shows up in the mail, you just cancel it. Hey, you know what? Thanks, but no thanks, right? No harm, no foul, right? Free money for 5 minutes of paperwork, $200 for $500 for 5 minutes. I'll take that any day, right? So instead of buying, and also we thought of instead of buying unlimited package for $65 per day per person. The funny thing about it is you don't even know what the weather is going to be like. You don't even know if you're going to be drinking that much. You may get out there and the weather may be a little bit damper, and you're going to see our cruise. The weather totally turned different. It's like, man, I'm not even that thirsty. I can drink some of the free drinks here. So you don't want to buy those pre-drink packages beforehand. Then so we drink maybe 3 or 4 drinks per day total. I don't know, $12, $15 per drink. We're spending about $40 to $50 per day instead of the 130 for the both of us with the package, right? A lot of times she's sipping off my drink, I'm dripping off her drink, right? So it's not, you could save money. So that's another little something you could save. So simple math saved us big right there on that. So these 4 onboarding strategies didn't limit our experience. We still had a good time. They actually enhanced it because we didn't have to worry about the money when we got home. This last tip I'm going to share with you guys is going to be crazy, right? So we ate better. We ate better food, more personal attention on the excursions. You never felt like we were missing out on anything. So the total savings from onboard moves added up to another $740 on this 4-day cruise to Ensenada. Let me give you the most important strategy before we get out of here, right? And you guys make sure you like and subscribe to this channel. I'm going to give you tips. Jennifer's going to make appearances. She's very camera shy, but she said she wanted to do this to help the people out. She's going to be mostly your shopping person, right? So one of the most important strategies of them all, right? And here's what I'm going to share with you, right? Is buying assets that pay you dividends, right? And there's a power play in that. And you're probably not going to get this on any other travel channel. My channel, I wanted to distinctly combine retirement, savings, investing, credit, all that stuff. I wanted to give you that on your retirement journeys and to travel. So this is a very unique channel. So make sure you like and subscribe. All right. So when we talk about dividends, right? Buying assets that pay dividends. A lot of people's like, okay, so what are dividends, right? So think of it like this, right? Think about a lemonade stand you own with 2 other friends, right? You all put your money in to buy lemons, sugars, and the cups, right? That makes each of you part owners, a third in this business, right? In this lemonade stand, right? when the stand earns money after paying for the supplies, the lemons, the sugar, the cups, the extra money is all profit. If you decide to share some of the profit with the owners, you and your friends, right? That money you give to each other is called a dividend, right? When companies like Home Depot or Walmart or even Apple, for that matter, makes a profit in most cases, sometimes they don't even make a profit and they still, in most cases, return some of the profits back to stockholders or shareholders as a dividend. Those are the types of investments you need to start looking at as you transition to your distribution phase, right? Those are examples are usually paid out every quarter, right? In the form of a check if you are in your distribution phase or no longer in your accumulation phase. That's another video for another day. Accumulation is when you're putting your retirement funds together. You're stacking them up, you're working, you're putting them together. That's an accumulation phase. Once you start turning on the faucet in the distribution phase, if you're in the distribution phase, it's like, you know what? I no longer need to reinvest. Send me my dividend check. Once you start getting your dividend checks, that's when you can start using that towards your trip every 3 months or every 4 months, depending on the 3x3 plan that I'll probably go over at another time, that you'll understand how we're able to take even more trips, right? That's my 3x3 plan. I'll talk about that in another opportunity. So planning for our next trip combined with our booking savings and the creation of this vlog, right? That we appreciate you listening to thus far, put us back. We're back in the green about $1,200, anywhere between $1,240 back into our retirement travel account for the next cruise, right? That's not just vacation money, right? That's investment money that keeps growing for our future travel plans. We also use a high yield savings account in the form of a money market, right? So what's a money market? It is a savings account on steroids. I would never put my money to save in a regular bank. Why? Because that's the money that they're lending out to every person that comes in and needs a loan. Reason why they can lend it out and make 7 or 8 or 9% on it is because they're only paying me 1% on it. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the rule of 72. I just appreciate you guys tuning into this channel. And so right there, a money market can save you over 1,000 per cruise, right? We're not just taking vacations anymore. We're creating a sustainable travel system that can fund cruises after cruises throughout our retirement years. We love cruising. We love traveling. We're in New We've went to the Cayman Islands. We've been everywhere. And now this vlog is going to allow us to start sharing our savings and our trips with you guys, right? So, and then we're going to talk about now we're writing off the majority of our travel. Crazy, right? I'm going to get into that strategy. That's going to be may be a workshop that I may want to get into. That's a video for a whole nother day. So, right. So listen. All right, I'm going to close this video out. I just want to say, here's what we figured out. These 5 strategies don't just save you money on one cruise. They create a cycle that funds your next trip. You can save anywhere between $1,000 to $1,500 to $2,000 on any cruise that you could take. And you can have that money in your retirement account and fund that to your next one. Let it grow for 6 months. Then you're back doing the same thing again. Then book your next vacation with the profits that you saved, right? We're talking about turning cruise vacations into a self-funding system. Do the math yourself. Calculate what you spend on your last cruise using our strategies. Comment below. Let me know if some of these made sense to you, right? I know that I'm going to get some people, I don't know if you can do that. I'm going to listen. We've tried them ourselves. I'm going to share with you a lot more on this channel. I appreciate you guys tuning in this far. Comment below on your potential savings, what you can do. I bet it'll surprise you. I bet those numbers will really, really surprise you. And you'll be surprised what you come up with. Hey, this has been Jenny Jones for the Golden Compass Retirement Channel. Jennifer, on behalf of Jennifer and Jenny, ourselves here, we'd like to thank you for tuning in. Until next time, we'll see you on the next cruise. Bon voyage. Goodbye for now.